Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion. My name is Dr. Annette Trimby. It is a great honor to host the celebration as President and Vice Chancellor of MacEwan University. We are here to celebrate the conferring of MacEwan's first honorary doctorates. As we begin our ceremony, we respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather in Treaty 6 territory is the traditional gathering place for many Indigenous people. We honor and respect the history, languages, ceremonies, and culture of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call this territory home. The First Peoples' connection to the land teaches us about our inherent responsibility to protect and respect Mother Earth. With this acknowledgement, we honor the ancestors and children who have been buried here, missing and murdered Indigenous women and men, and the process of ongoing collective healing for all human beings. We are reminded that we are all treaty people and of the responsibility we have to one another. I would like to welcome our Indigenous knowledge keeper, Elder Francis Whiskey-Jack, who will provide an invocation on this momentous day.
Tanse, kakionwagu maganak. Welcome. Kauyutuku kisi kweu nitsika son ni anehio nitskopo ni hoche. I am Cree. I am native from Sad Lake Reserve. I'm also known as Fine Day in English, my ceremonial name, and to the universities I'm known as Dr. and Elder Francis Whiskey-Jack. So today I will be using my first language, which is Cree, to give you a blessing and to congratulate the recipient of this honorary degree. I'm going to be lighting up this medicine, sage. And if you believe in it, if you put your faith in it, spiritually, you shall receive this blessing as I light this medicine and as the smoke is rising. We bless all our religious and relics items. And as I do this ceremony, and I bless you all, remember that the Creator gave us a mind and this brain, which has new learnings. So therefore, if it's part of our physical, new learnings in life are a gift of the Creator. And our mentality teaches us and guides us through the circle of life. So on notes, today, Mamo Tawe Mau, Father of all. I give thanks for this tobacco protocol and gifts that were given to me. Momo Sigaon, asking for mercy on behalf of the people. And so today, Mamo Tawe Mau, I ask your guidance to bless this ceremony which has an individual that has earned great respect and is honored today through the doctorate. In this way of education, I ask that you bless all the people that have worked so hard to earn their degrees, and that walking in this path of education will lead us to many different paths, and that we can use as caregivers, as teachers, as professors, as deans, as trustees. And so today, I give you thanks, Creator, and ask that you give this blessing to all the people that are attending this ceremony and that are supporting this great honoree. I ask your spirit guides, the grandfathers and the grandmothers, to give us a good blessing today and to bring this prayer to what we know as the spirit world, heaven as we know it. All my relations.
Thank you, Elder Francis. Today is a historic day for MacEwan University, one that we have worked towards for close to a decade. We are celebrating this significant step forward on MacEwan's journey as an undergraduate university with the conferment of our first honorary doctorates. And I am delighted to share this moment with all of those who have joined us today. Conferment of an honorary doctorate is the highest honor the university can grant to a person, and I am privileged to share with you the incredible achievements of recipients of MacEwan's first honorary doctorates. Conferring honorary doctorates is an opportunity for our community to benefit from the reflection and insight of our remarkable recipients, to learn from the high standard that they have set and the challenges they have overcome and their amazing achievements. We greatly appreciate that they have taken the time to share their perspectives with us and inspire our community with their words. First, I'd like to welcome the chair of the MacEwan University's Board of Governors, Carolyn Graham, to speak to the significance of what this means for MacEwan as a university.
Thank you, President Trimby. I'd like to start by thanking our selection committee members who were instrumental in bringing forward recommendations on our extraordinary honorary doctorate recipients, who I look forward to hearing from today. I also want to express my thanks to the MacEwan community who came together to create this significant moment. I'm thrilled that we will celebrate this milestone as we prepare to celebrate our 50th anniversary in the fall. Honorary doctorates reflect the principles and values of an institution. To confer honorary doctorates is just one example of how we can highlight and celebrate excellence and its impact on the whole community. MacEwan's honorary doctorate is a Doctor of the University. This is an academic degree that holds esteem throughout the academy. It is granted by an institution to honor the outstanding contributions of an individual to their field and to their community. It can be awarded for outstanding academic achievement, but is also bestowed on individuals who have set the highest standard of achievement in contributions to society. We chose recipients who have demonstrated leadership, compassion, and the highest potential we know our graduates are capable of. We're pleased that as an undergraduate university, MacEwan University is able to bestow on our recipients the Doctor of the University, honoris causa, for the sake of honor. As we've grown from a community college into a university, our faculty deepened their research. We expanded our community connections. Our students have new opportunities to engage in community-based learning, new degrees to expand their horizons, and new projects to reach their potential. And now, as we confer our first honorary doctorates, we have another way to proudly say, this is MacEwan University, and this is the difference our graduates aspire to make. I know that I speak for all of our board members when I say that we are ecstatic to witness this momentous day for MacEwan University. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Graham. It is important that the recipients of honorary doctorates set the standard for how education serves the public good. Recipients of MacEwan's honorary doctorate demonstrate their commitment to build the solutions that address local and global issues. They are chosen for their exemplary work both in their field and for the impact it has on our community. The first recipient of MacEwan University's honorary doctorate is someone who will be familiar to many in Alberta and across Canada. Dr. Tony Fields has demonstrated how dedication to his field of oncology can lead to creating systemic solutions that change the way healthcare operates. Dr. Fields changed the way Alberta's healthcare system addressed cancer treatment. The supporters of Dr. Fields' nomination consistently brought up his collaborative, multidisciplinary approach that created solutions. As the director of the Cross Cancer Institute, he championed a provincial cancer program that blended the population and health aspects of cancer care, integrated research, and coordinated approaches to prevention and screening. Perhaps most resonant with cancer patients and their families, he helped to create the Community Cancer Network, which enabled patients across the province to receive chemotherapy treatments closer to home. In Alberta's centennial year, he was named one of Alberta's 100 Physicians of the Century. In 2012, he was appointed a member of the Order of Canada. MacEwan aspires to academic excellence with compassion for our students, and it is clear from Dr. Fields' exceptional accomplishments that he exemplifies excellence and compassion in his work. So it is with great honor that as President and Vice Chancellor of MacEwan University, by authority of the powers vested in me, I do hereby confer upon Dr. Anthony Fields the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa, and the honor and privileges that are proper to it. I would now like to welcome Dr. Fields to accept his honorary doctorate.
Thank you very much, President Trimby. I would also like to acknowledge Board Chair Graham, members of the Board of Governors, MacEwan faculty, staff, students, families, and friends who are joining this virtual event. Words can hardly express how thrilled I am and how honored I feel to be chosen as one of the first recipients of the Honorary Doctorate from MacEwan University. Like so many Edmontonians, I have admired MacEwan's distinguished record as a college over the past half-century and was pleased when it recently was elevated to its well-deserved status of undergraduate university. This honorary doctorate gives me a lifelong connection with MacEwan, which I will always cherish. In accepting a distinguished honor such as this, it is common practice for recipients to thank their spouse or partner at the end of their acceptance speech. I, however, wish to thank my wife Pat at the beginning. Let me tell you how significant her role has been in the winding roads of my life and my career. I met her on the very day I returned to my native Barbados after 4 years in England. Pat was just a few weeks into her 2-year term as a Canadian University Service Overseas volunteer on a 2-year teaching assignment in Barbados. We fell in love and we were married within a year. We decided that we would relocate to Canada upon her completing her volunteer assignment. I might otherwise never have contemplated immigration to Canada. As a newcomer to Edmonton, I had a degree in natural sciences and a job as a technician in the chemistry lab of Stelco's steel plant. But what about my long-term future? Pat recommended taking advantage of the vocational counseling program offered by the University of Alberta. After I completed days of aptitude testing, my counselor strongly recommended that I become a physician, a prospect that I had never entertained. Indeed, I resisted, but he countered my every objection until I yielded. I approached the Faculty of Medicine. It turned out that in those days, as the assistant dean kindly and gently explained, the program was for residents of Alberta, and I would not be considered an Albertan, despite my status as a landed immigrant living and working in Edmonton. Fortunately, my wife's unassailable Albertan credentials surfaced at the end of the interview and rescued my fragile new career ambition. I did not set out to be an oncologist, but I found an early interest in oncology sparked by my success in the first-year biochemistry laboratory in curing 2 mice of experimental cancer. My immediate request to take my little survivors home was gently but firmly denied. However, my accompanying inquiry into research studentship at the University of Alberta's Cancer Research Unit led to 2 interesting summer research projects. Over the clinical years of undergraduate and postgraduate training in Edmonton and Toronto, I developed a special empathy for cancer patients. And when an opportunity for subspecialty training in medical oncology at the Princess Margaret Hospital presented itself, I seized it. I have learned so much from the patients whom I have served in my clinical practice. They have admitted me into intimate contact with their cancer journeys, and I have stood in awe and admiration of the capacity of the human spirit to cope with the many facets of adversity that cancer imposes. Thank you, my patients, for teaching me so much and for inspiring me to strive to reduce at the local, provincial, and national levels the burden that this disease imposes on patients, on families, on communities, and on populations. I have had the opportunity to play often pivotal roles in visioning, planning, and implementing strategies and programs promising and leading to meaningful improvement. To cite examples within Alberta, there was the development of 11 community cancer centres strategically located in towns across the province, from High River in the south to Fort McMurray in the north. Also, there was the planning for new radiation treatment facilities completed in Lethbridge and Red Deer and planned for Grand Prairie. These were all in the spirit of bringing cancer care as close to home as feasible for Albertans under the guidance of and to the standards set by the flagship programs of Edmonton's Cross Cancer Institute and Calgary's Tom Baker Cancer Centre. In the sphere of post-secondary education, there was the coalescence of the research and educational programs and academic staff of the University of Alberta and the Cross Cancer Institute to form the new Department of Oncology in 1993. I wish to acknowledge and thank the many teachers, mentors, colleagues, friends, and heroes who have inspired, guided, assisted, and supported me over the years. And again, my wife, Pat, who has stood by me through these many years of study and work. You have accommodated the turbulent demands of my often complex obligations and schedules. I could never have become a candidate for this honor without your understanding and your support. President Trimby, Board Chair Graham, and all those who have had a hand in my receiving this great honor, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Dr. Fields. Thank you for taking the time to share your words with us. I know your message is one that will resonate with our community. We are so proud and humbled to have you accept this honorary doctorate. Honorary doctorates can also be awarded to members of our alumni who have demonstrated outstanding commitment to their field and community. MacEwan is incredibly proud to count among its graduates Ms. Brenda Barton. Earlier this year, Ms. Barton achieved one of the highest honors. She, alongside her colleagues at the United Nations World Food Program, received the Nobel Peace Prize. For one of MacEwan's graduates to receive this honor is momentous. Ms. Barton graduated from MacEwan's Public Relations Program in 1981. Many of the supporters of Ms. Barton's nomination mentioned the education she received here as uniquely equipping her for the communication challenges she would face. In her time with the World Food Program, Ms. Barton worked to tell the story of food insecurity, the effects of natural disasters on vulnerable populations, and to promote bringing the basics of a good life to those who have lost virtually everything. In his letter of support, the assisting managing editor of the New York Times, Mark Lacey, said, "So many of us judge success by how comfortable we make our lives. Brenda judges her success by how comfortable she makes the lives of others." And so it is with great honor that I, as President and Vice Chancellor of MacEwan University, by authority of the powers vested in me, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa, and the honor and privileges that are proper to it. I'd like to welcome Brenda Barton to accept her honorary doctorate.
A warm hello from Manila, Philippines. It's my true honor to be with you today, virtually, unfortunately, for this event in which I am also being honored with an honorary doctorate. I am truly humbled and so appreciative of this recognition. And I was reflecting back this morning and thinking that it was exactly 40 years ago that I myself went to MacEwan University. It was known as Grant MacEwan Community College at the time. And the program that I was involved with, or that I went to, was advertising and public relations. I was very clear when I came out of high school that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in that field. And I asked my dad's friends. I said, my dad had a friend that was heading an advertising agency, and I went to him and I said, where should I go? And he was absolutely clear. He said, MacEwan University, because that's where you're going to get the best professionals teaching you what you need to know. So that's what I did, and I spent 2 years there. And then I decided to round out my academic background. I went to Arizona State University. I studied business with a specialization in marketing, and then I came back to Edmonton, my hometown, and I started my career working for Edmonton Northlands. And then I think, like many young people, I decided to travel. I went for a summer to Europe. And then that's when my pathway inspired me to go there. And I went to Italy, I went to Rome, and that's where the World Food Program was headquartered. But I was looking for a job. I didn't know I was going to work for WFP, as it's known. But that's where I was, and I started out working in communications. And I, within a year, found myself sent to Africa, sent to Kenya, where at the time in 1992, there was the worst famine at that point, almost historically. People were dying by the day. I remember flying into Somalia on planes every morning with journalists, filled with journalists, because I was a spokesperson and I was facilitating journalists to cover the scene. And I remember seeing these little bodies covered with white cloths, and I had never seen anyone die before. I had never been in a famine before. It was all a lot to take in. But I was so grateful that I had the opportunity to help and to feel that I was helping people by getting the news out and for people to understand what was happening in the Horn of Africa at the time. And I ended up staying 11 years in Kenya. I ended up covering all of Africa, and I was there during some historic and very, very tragic times. For example, the Rwanda genocide that prompted 1 million people to go across the border into Democratic Republic of Congo literally overnight. I saw other really tragic scenes, but I also saw many, many, many heartwarming and inspiring scenes of just how giving a meal to a child in school and helping a community be better nourished and have the ability to grow their own food was just life-changing for them. And then from there, I went back to our headquarters in Rome, and I was the deputy director of communications. So that was a fabulous opportunity. I was working with celebrities, Sean Connery, all sorts of really interesting, wider communications activities beyond working with the media. And then I decided, okay, I've plateaued in my career, and I started to work in management. So I went to Johannesburg, and I was a deputy regional director. And then from there, I went into leading country offices, most recently in Sri Lanka, and then here today in the Philippines. So it's been a fantastic journey, a really fulfilling one, unexpected. I really didn't think I would be working for the World Food Program now, some 30 years later, but it has been an absolute journey that I feel so privileged to have taken it. And I couldn't have done it without the support of my family and my friends. First of all, the WFP family. It's a family of some 20,000 people now. And we're really just so tight. Everyone helps each other, probably because we're working on the front lines of hunger and we see so much suffering every day, including the loss of our own colleagues. And of course, I couldn't have done it without my family. My husband, Martin, who's a fantastic journalist and who has followed me around in my latter career. My children, Mateo and Enrico, who moved countries, and one of them is now living in Canada, but who had really never lived in Canada their whole life until they went to university. And of course, my parents, who remained in Edmonton, my wonderful hometown, and didn't get to see their grandchildren very often. And sadly, my father passed away last May, and because of COVID, I wasn't even able to get back. So these are some of the sacrifices that people like myself in the World Food Program have made for our career, but but it's been such a fulfilling opportunity to help people. And I have to say that now with COVID, the demands are even greater, the considerations that there are for people who are trying to feed their families when they may have lost their jobs. And you know, when food prices are more expensive, it's just put us into a whole new situation of urgency. And in fact, this year, the World Food Program was recognized with the Nobel Peace Prize. That was in 2020. I'd just like to close by thanking those who nominated me and supported me with letters for this recognition. These are my coworkers, they're WFP colleagues, even WFP alumni and friends. It's a great honor. And I just would like to wish everyone at the event today well. Go forward, follow your passion, hard work, good attitude, as I always tell my children, and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Barton. Having you as a member of our alumni and one of our first recipients of an honorary doctorate is an inspiration to both our students and our faculty. With that, I would like to thank all of you for joining us to celebrate the conferment of MacEwan University's first honorary doctorates. This marks a milestone in MacEwan's journey as a university. I am incredibly humbled and honored to move forward with these recipients as leaders in our community. MacEwan's future is bright, and I look forward to sharing it with all of you. To both Dr. Fields and Ms. Barton, thank you for sharing your perspectives with us, and on behalf of MacEwan University, congratulations once again.